Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Rosa Technocrat. Today I am here with a new topic and new issue. This is like a user is not able to authenticate or like Fortigate admin is not able to authenticate using the Radius server after an upgrade to version 7.2.10. Let's discuss more details about this. So this came into my mind recently. I have got an issue reported where uh, the Radius admin authentication was not working after an upgrade to version 7.2.10. Okay, so uh, during the investigation of that, I found all this information, and so I am here to show it to you guys. Okay, so the issue starts only after upgrade to 7 to 10 or 7.4.6. Yeah, 746. So the issue is in 7 to 10 and 746. Okay, so this is actually not an issue. Okay, let me go through the reading and the explanation that will give you a clear picture of this. Okay, so the only solution to this issue is either to downgrade the firmware to a version lower than 7.2.10 or ensure that the Radius server supports sending the message authenticator attribute and Radius accept, reject or request messages. So this is a solution. Solution is like either your authenticator or any Radius server that you are using should be able to support message authenticator attribute. Okay, if your Radius server is not supporting this, then the only solution is to downgrading the firewall to 7 to 9 or lower, but 7 to 10 will not work on that. Similarly, if you are in 7.4.x series, then you should downgrade the firmware to lower than 746. Otherwise, there is no other workaround as of now. And if your Radius server supports this attribute, then you just have to enable that attribute settings onto the Radius server. Most of the vendors is now supporting this. So if you face this challenge or face this issue, you just go to your Radius server and enable this message authenticator attribute. This behavior is not a but rather a security enhancement introduced by Fortigate to address a vulnerability in the Radius protocol. Okay, so recently there was a vulnerability announced in the Radius protocol. So as a response to that vulnerability, Fortigate has introduced this verification of the message authenticator attributes. So Fortigate now mandates verification of this message authenticator attribute and Radius packets as a security measure. But what I believe is like instead of making for this as a mandatory attribute, Fortinet should or Fortigate should give this as a option to the customer if they want to disable or enable, because that will help them for any backward compatibility issues with some third-party Radius servers. But most of the Radius servers are supporting this, whereas if we talk about the authenticator from Fortinet, that of course supports this beginning from version 6.6.2. If the Radius server does not support this attribute, you will need to either downgrade the Fortigate firmware or use a local account for login, and Radius admin will not work. Okay, so that's the resolution for this. Now we will understand like how you can identify is this the actual cause behind this. Of course, if you face the issue in the admin login after just after upgrade the 7 to 10, then it is because of this for sure. So this is occurring because FortiOS 7.2.10 and 7.4.5 have applied mitigations to protect against the blast radius vulnerability. The name of that vulnerability is blast radius vulnerability. And these mitigations include enforcing the validation of the message authenticator radius attribute. Okay, so that is dropping server connections that fail to provide the attribute. So if the radius server is not able to provide the message authenticator attribute, then that request will be dropped and will not be accepted, and rejecting radius response with an unrecognized proxy state attribute. So this is how Fortinet responded to this blast radius vulnerability by adding a mandatory check for this particular attribute. However, radius servers may not have been updated to support these same mitigations, and in those cases, radius authentication will not be successful. To validate the issue, you can run FNB debugs on the Fortigate while testing radius authentication. Okay. Now, when we are running a debug in 7.2.9 where everything is working, you see that radius request server is sent to the radius server, and we receive a response back from the FortiAuthenticator. Here the radius server is a FortiAuthenticator radius server, and then finally the group matches and user passes the authentication. So this is how it works in 7.2.9. But if you upgrade to 7.2.9, then you will see this issue. After upgrading, if you use these commands to enable the debug on the FortiGate while you are facing the issue, you will see one log saying that no message authenticator attribute. So if you find this in your debug, that means this is because of this compatibility or fixing the radius. So what is the solution? You have to enable the message authenticator on your radius server. That's the actual fix. And if your radius server doesn't support adding that, then you have to downgrade the Fortigate. Okay, so there is also a reference article from Fortinet that provides all these details, and even in this article it is mentioned about some third party like NPS, Microsoft, other servers, like how to do it. For example, if the radius server is a FortiAuthenticator is from Fortinet, as you already know, like all Forti products are from Fortinet. So if your radius server is a FortiAuthenticator radius server, then you have to enable this option under the client, radius client. So when you go under radius service, okay, it will be radius service, and then under clients, you have to select your specific client and edit the property of the client. Select client and added the property of the client to enable this require client to send message authenticator attribute. Okay, so this is on FortiAuthenticator. So with respect to FortiAuthenticator, even this option is only available from 6.6.2 or later. If the FortiAuthenticator version is lower than this, then even FortiAuthenticator does not support this attribute. So if you find you upgraded the FortiGate, but you have not upgraded your FortiAuthenticator to 6.6.2, then also you will face the issue. So you should upgrade your FortiAuthenticator to 6.6.2, or if it is already upgraded, or if you are already on 6.6.2 or higher, then you have to enable require client to send a message authenticator, which is this option under the radius server and client properties. If your Windows server is a radius server, or like we say NPS server, also we call Microsoft NPS. So if you are using a Microsoft NPS server, then this option is available here. Access request messages that must contain the message authenticator attribute. Okay, so this option is also available under the radius client settings, something similar to authenticator. So this is an option under Microsoft NPS that you have to enable this. Lab time, let's go. Okay, so now when I talk about lab, let's quickly go to our lab. Okay, so here we have our FortiAuthenticator, and this is my FortiGate. So as you can see, this is currently running 7.2.9. You can check here FortiGate 7.2.9. Okay, and you can see my administrator. I have created an wildcard administrator, FW admin, which is getting authenticated from a radius group, fake radius group. And if you go under user authentication, user groups, you will see fake radius group is a member of which server? The fake radius server. And if I go under radius server, then 52, this is my radius server, which is successfully connected. Okay, so this is successful. So this test is successful on 7 to 9. Okay, and even I will show you, like if I try to authenticate using let me make a duplicate session, and if I try to authenticate using this user, the radius user, FW admin, oops, it works. Okay, I'm able to log in and radius is working successfully. Okay, even if you see, if you want to confirm, like I am using the same radius. Okay, then let me, how to enable those debugs that we were talking, that also let me tell you. So if I have to enable the debug, I have to do debug application fnb md -1. Okay, I think, okay, so this is fnbd -1 and debug enable. Okay, now I will re-log in using a radius user, fw admin. Okay, fw admin, and I am entering my password. So you can see I'm able to log on to the device while the group passed group matching, and it was a success. Sending result, radius auth send compose sent to the radius server, and this was a success. Okay, now because I am here to explain you the entire process, let me quickly upgrade my device, because I have to show you the issue. Actually, I already tested this, but because every time I show you the exact issue, so I kept my device knowingly on to 7 to 9, so that I will upgrade and then I can show you the difference between 7 to 9 and 7 to 10. Let me quickly upgrade this to 7 to 10. I will do this upgrade as well in front of you, so you know, like we upgraded and we confirm the issue is because of the upgrade. So I will quickly do an upgrade to 7 to 10 and hope this will not take time. Let's go. It's downloading the image, backup is taken. I have taken the backup because during the upgrade, Fortigate automatically takes a configuration backup and downloads it. Okay, but it is going to later take some time. So let's wait for some time. Okay, so the download is completed and my firewall, that's a VM, is rebooting. I think it's about to reboot. Hopefully it will not take much time. Almost there, should be. Let me just try to refresh if it comes up. Not yet. Okay, let us wait. It's now refused, so possibly The device is up and waiting for the reboot, and here we go. So my Fortigate should be upgraded now. Let me check. Oh, let me check. Okay, yeah, so Fortigate is rebooted and I am able to log into my device because I used a local username. Okay, now let me go to the incognito window and try to log in using a Radius account. Okay, let's go. Let me try to log in using a Radius and see if it works. And okay, fw admin and my password, here we go.